of thousands of employees in the Sunshine State are out of work, as you know, particularly those in the service and tourism industries. And we've heard plenty from viewers fed up with the dysfunctional unemployment system. Troy Kless is on your side, looking at the problems and the possible solutions.
Overcommitting crimes.
Dana Miller has done several stories with us about how he's using his barber shop to be a positive change in the community. But right now his shop is shut down due to coronavirus, and now he's worried about many others in similar situations.
Miller's Man Cave Barbershop is closed.
I've been shut down possibly about 2 weeks now. And the beauty industry as a whole has suffered because of the COVID-19.
As many lose their jobs, they are relying on state and federal help. Florida officials say they are adding more workers and computer servers to keep up with the number of people filing for unemployment. Health insurance is another issue for many. Under a law called COBRA, laid-off employees from large employers can pay to continue health insurance coverage. This is one option, but according to the Department of Labor's FAQ sheet, COBRA continuation coverage is often more expensive. We reached out to the Department of Labor for more details, but they did not respond at our deadline. Miller thinks that no matter the politics, leaders have to help workforces that are on the sidelines.
Our leaders have to take care of us because we take care of our leaders.
Troy Kless, First Coast News, on your side.